What's happening, Achievers? Ajit Sidhu here. It's a beautiful day as always. Today I want to talk about something that really hits home for me. It's really important. It's a very important topic for me. And I want to share this concept with you all. It's about play. Playing with, it's not only playing with your own children, it's playing with any children. And it's such an important thing that we learn how to play with children. Now, what society wants us to believe is that we shouldn't be playing much. We should be focused. We should be sitting in lines and doing work at school on the table. This is not the way we learnt. Super Nanny is wrong when she says you have meant to have timeouts and you meant to do this type of thing, but she hasn't even got her own kids. So this is where I just wanted to quickly talk about how we can learn and teach everything through play. And there's 3 secrets or 3 points that I actually want to hit on. One of it is playing is not just for children. Now, as we get older and we get more sophisticated, we start thinking playing is not for us. But then you see those parents that are so playful, and you think, wow, I wish I could be like that. Trust me, I was like that. I used to see my cousin who lives in Glasgow, who's an amazing actor. He used to play with children, and I used to watch him, and I used to think, wow, I'd love to be like that. And I've spoken about Lee as well, my mentor in martial arts and my very good friend. The way he interacted with children, I used to just look and just think, wow, I wish I could do that. But I couldn't. I didn't know how to. I used to walk past children and they used to start crying. They used to tuck themselves into the mother or father's leg. When I used to walk past dogs used to start barking at me. I thought I was a vampire. But then when it came time for me to have my own child, that's when I knew that I had to learn how to play. And once I've learned how to play, I realized that we play all the time. We're constantly playing. When I do martial arts, that's playtime. We call it martial arts, but we're actually playing. We're not physically hitting each other and to the pulp and making the person bleed. We're playing. We're taking care of each other. We're learning. They're interacting with each other. When we're doing sports, when people watch football, the grown men are running around a ball. They're playing on the field. They're playing. This is something that we have to realize. We constantly see lots of people playing all the time. We play. We do crosswords. We do Sudokus, and just to get our mind back into the play, because our inner child wants to play. And this is the reason why we play. So playing is just not for children. Playing is for us. We do it all the time. And on top of that, we learn faster when we're actually playing, when we're enjoying something. We probably learn more in the playground at our school than we did in the classroom. We probably learn more outside with our friends talking about the lectures rather than being in the lectures in front when the teacher's at the front and us falling asleep. That's where playing is so important. It's for us. Also, going back to my personal experience, when I was at Disney's a magical place. It brings the inner child out. But when you're standing at the gate and it's 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't remember. You're standing at the gate waiting for the gate to open, and you see all the people that are right next to you, and you see that the park is completely empty. And you think, I need to be disciplined. When the gates open, I need to just walk. I'll just walk. I walk. And then you start breaking out into a jog. You think, I'm gonna beat these people. I'm gonna get there first. And then you see the granny next to you. She's shooting past. She's broken out into a full throttle run. And you think, geez, I gotta run. And you start running. What's happening here? You're competing through play. You're running to in a theme park. Because of the enjoyment. And when you get there, what do? You start laughing, you start talking about how you did this. But in Disney, you become a child again. You learn so much there. You build connections, you learn about different cultures. In Epcot, they've got a whole center there to learn everything about different worlds, different cultures. And on top of that, you get to experience the science and physics and chemistry there, the gravity of it, and the thrill. You get to learn so much. But we just see it as, oh, it's such a fun time. And why do we remember it? Because it was so fun. Because we were playing. And that becomes a memorable moment. And that's how our brain triggers off. But that's not all. For children, play is everything. They don't know how to do the work that we have to do. They don't know all the stuff that we know. All they know is play. Play is work for them. And we have to remember that. So if we do want to enter the children's world, we just have to remember how to play. And that is secret number 2 that I want to go through is we do know how to play. We've just forgotten. And I love this scene. It's a scene from one of my favorite all-time movies. It's Hook. And Peter Pan has left Neverland and he's gone to the real world. He's grown up, he's got his own children, he's become a lawyer. And Hook comes along and kidnaps his children and he has to get his children back. However, he can't remember how to be Peter Pan again. And the Lost Boys are trying to train him, they're throwing him off, they're chucking him, they're trying to make him fly, but he just can't remember. And he's all bruised and battered and he's walking up to the table and there's a big banquet and it's covered with food, like boxes of food, and he's so hungry and he's waddling towards the table, and all the Lost Boys are sitting there and their mouths are all salivating and they're all looking around to each other and smiling. And Peter finally sits down and he smiles at the Lost Boys next to him. And he's so hungry, and as they lift the pan's lid up, there's nothing in them. They're all empty. And he starts looking around, he's confused. He looks at Tinkerbell, and Tinkerbell says, "You gotta use your imagination, Peter. You gotta use your imagination." And he can't. He's seeing everyone biting into the corn cobs, eating it all, and he's trying to pretend, but he can't. And I believe it's Rufio, who's the leader of the Lost Boys. He took on the role of the leader when Peter left. And he starts to tease Peter, saying, "You can't play, you're adult, you can't do anything." And because Peter's a lawyer, he's able to speak through he's able to fight through his mouth. He starts to fight back with his words. And he puts Rufio in his place. And he's proud of himself, and he sits down, he looks at his bowl, he grabs a spoon, and he digs into the air, and he turns it around, and he aims it at Rufio, and he goes, "Oh, Rufio!" Flick! And the food splatters on Rufio's face. And Peter is shocked, and he looks at the table, and it's covered with food. All the pots and the pans are covered with multicolored food. And he looks at the Lost Boys, and the Lost Boys say, "Peter, you've started to play." And that's such a huge moment when I look at that. I think that is the key here. We have to just remember how to play. We just have to start playing and remember how to play. And one thing we have to remember is, excuse me, when we engage in play, we get so much energy. Our energy actually comes from physical movement. When we're moving, we are physically, our energy is being pumped, our blood is being pumped everywhere. And that is something we always tend to say is we don't have enough energy. Oh, I don't want to play because it takes too much energy. No, energy is gained from playing. And that's where our imagination is, and that's where our memorable moments are. And now, the final point, and I'm going to make this brief. Not enough time to play. We always say, "Oh, well, I don't have enough time to play. I don't have enough time to play." But when you do have that small amount of time to play, we don't have are full of enthusiasm, and like I said just right now, we don't have enough energy, and we sit there all slumped, and then we feel guilty that we couldn't play with our children. And we just have to remember that when it comes to our memorable moments, if I asked you in the past week, 1 week, 7 days, think about all the memorable moments that you've had. I'm sure if you just stopped and thought about all the memorable, enjoyable moments that you have had, it's with your children, with your partner, with your family. It's with your colleagues when you've been playing, when you've been engaged in something enjoyable, which is just mind play. No one is going to say, oh, I was at work at 5 o'clock in the morning doing the project about the thesis about scientific blah-de-blah. No one's going to say that. And if you do say that, then you probably need more help than I can provide. It's about being grateful for the moments that we've had with our children and when we've been playing. And that is something where when we say we don't have enough time, we are just cancelling our world, our life. We're just slicing the big chunks that we could be filling with fun and enjoyable and memorable moments, and just prioritizing our work that we're going to completely forget. And then we say life is too short. Life is too short. The reason why we say life is too short is because we're focused too much on things that we will forget and not remember. And the things that we do remember, the memorable moments, we engage in them in the least amount of time, not prioritizing. And that's why some people's lives are so short, whereas some people's lives are so long. Something to think about on not having enough time, but also by saying not enough time, I just quickly mentioned it, it's about the prioritizing. We're not prioritizing. Everyone has 24 hours in the day. When we say we don't have enough time, we're basically saying we're not prioritizing it. And the big key thing that I've just mentioned is about the lifespan. So we have to remember that. But the one quick thing that I just want to quickly say is about the secret. There's a secret hack that I use, and I think everyone should use, is you can use coffee or tea if you drink coffee and tea. I don't drink coffee and tea, but I do take a pre-workout. And when I play with my children, I take a pre-workout which has slight caffeine in it, but it energizes me. And once I'm energized, I'm more enthusiastic. But if you do not want to take any of those stuff, you can take matcha green tea, which is about £15 a tub. It detoxifies you, it energizes your body, but it also relaxes your mind to be able to play. And I think that is the best one to actually just scoop into hot water, drink it, and you're energized. And on top of that, it's a weight loss. You shed fat with it, so it's an extra bonus there. So that's a little tip there that could change everything. Now, if I said to you that a survey was carried out in a prison, and they asked the prisoners, did you ever play with your parents? Or did your parents ever play with you? And I said 98% of the prisoners said my parents never played with me, didn't have enough time for me, and did not emotionally connect with me. Would that change your priority in how you play with your children? Something to think about. What if I said the complete opposite? Now, there's a statistic out there that says 95% of the wealth in the world is owned by 5% of the people. So 95% of all the wealth is owned just by those 5%. the 5% that are achievers, that are successful, that have created and kept moving forward. And when they were asked the same question, what if I said all of them said, yeah, my parents were there for me. My parents used to play with me. By playing, they taught me about the world. What if I said that they were always there? Those people said, my parents had the connection with me. They prioritized me. Would that change your priorities? Something to think about. And Richard Branson is one of those billionaires that had his parents always there playing with him, showing him how to be independent through play. And on top of that, he continues to play. And all of his marketing is through a playful method. He's jumping off buildings, he's in a balloon, he's in a boat ride, he's dressed up as a woman, or he's doing something. He's just playing. And when he's questioned, he's still, I don't know if his parents are still alive, but when I read his biography a year back, his parents were still alive. And I think then about 90 or 95, and he's still with them. And he still loves them and cares for them. That's because they played with him and had that connection. Something to think about when it comes to prioritizing our children. Something to think about when we say, I don't have enough time. Something to think about when we say, I don't know how to play, and playing is for just children. Something to think about. Because that thing to think about is going to be our future. We can change the world just through play. Have fun, guys. Speak to you later. Bye.